Today we're going to look at the harder problems for elimination. So sometimes you have to multiply both equations by a number to get the same number opposite sign so that you can use elimination. Before, we only had to multiply one or none of the equations. So let's look at these. If I look at my x's, I have 3 and negative 8, so they have the opposite signs. Same with the y's, 10 and negative 4. So at that point, you can choose which one you want to deal with. Okay, I would probably do the 3 and the 8 just because it's in the front. All right, so if I look at 3 and 8, I have 3 and 8. What number does 3 and 8 go into? Okay, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. If I list some factors of, multiples of 8, we have 8, 16, 24. So they have 24 in common. Okay, so we're going to make these into 24. So in the first equation, what would I multiply by to make the 3 into 24? We would multiply by 8. Okay, in the second equation, how would I make the 8 turn into a 24? We would multiply by 3. Okay, they already have opposite signs, so we can multiply by the positive form of them. Okay, let's go ahead and multiply. So what's that give us? 8 times 3 is 24x. 8 times 10 would be plus 80y. And then we have 8 times 17. If you need a calculator, grab one. Okay, make sure you're comfortable doing this. I want to make sure I don't mess up too. Again, don't forget about that number. That's the big mistake that people make, is they forget to multiply by that last number. So you get equals positive 136. Now multiply the bottom equation. 3 times negative 8 would be negative 24x. 3 times negative 4 would be minus 12y. Equals 3 times 0 is 0. Okay, double check your to make sure you have a variable that's the same number opposite sign, and we do. We have positive 24 and negative 24. So at this point, I can add the equations together. So 24 plus negative 24, that's gone. Okay, positive 80 plus negative 12 would be 68y, and then we have 136. Okay, we're going to divide each side. We have one step to solve. So I'm going to divide each side by 68. And y comes out to be 2. So there's my y. Now how do I find my x? I'm going to take that y and I'm going to plug it into one of my original equations. I'm going to plug it into the first one. So we have 3x plus 10 times 2 equals 17. And then solve it down. So we have 3x, 10 times 2 would be plus 20 equals 17. I'm going to subtract 20 to each side to get 3x equals negative 3. Divide each side by 3, and x equals negative 1. And then how do we write our answer? We always write our answer as an x, y point. Okay, let's try another one. Why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video and figure out which equation to multiply, or what to multiply each equation by. Okay, so if I look at this one, I have negative 8 and 7, and I have negative 8 and 9. They do have opposite signs for each of them, so you just have to pick which one you want to eliminate first, the x or the y. I would do the y's only because I like the number that they both go into, but you can do whichever one you want. Okay, so what number does 8 and 7 both go into? We'll do the x's just because they're first. 8 and 7. If you can't figure it out, you can list them over here and we can count. So we have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. Now do your 7s. 7, 14, so that's not in common. 21, nope. 28, nope. Let's see, 35, nope. 42, nope. 49, still doesn't work. Barely have enough room. 56. So there's our common number. So how would I make this 8 in the first equation turn into a 56? I would multiply by 7. Good. So if we multiply that one by 7, now look at the bottom one. How do I make this 7 become 56? 7 times what equals 56? 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply those and see what happens. So 7 times negative 8 would be negative 56x. 7 times negative 8 again, minus 56x. And then 7 times 0 is 0. Then do the bottom. 8 times 7 would be 56x. 8 times 9 would be plus 72y. 8 times negative 20 would be equals, watch your sign, negative 160. Okay, now check your numbers. If we look at our x's, we have negative 56 and positive 56. So we can go ahead and add the equations together because they have the same number, opposite signs. So when I do that, we have negative 56 plus 56. Those are gone. They eliminate. We have negative 56 plus 72. Be very careful with your negatives when you get into the bigger numbers. Those are harder to do in your head. If you are not comfortable with negatives, use a calculator. There's no shame in that. Okay, so you end up with 16y equals negative 160. Divide each side by 16. Watch your negative. And we end up with negative 10 for y. Now that I've found y, we have to find x. I'm going to use the bottom equation because everything's positive and I just like that more. So we have 7x plus 9 times my y is negative 10 equals negative 20. So 7x minus 90 equals negative 20. I'm going to add 90 to both sides to get 7x equals 70. Divide each side by 7 and x equals 10. So I'm left with 10, negative 10 as my xy solution. Okay, let's try another one. So on this next one, we're going to look at our x's and y's. Okay, look at your x's, 7, negative 2. Okay, they have opposite signs. And then we have 8 and 7. They don't have opposite signs. I would do the 7 and negative 2 because they already have opposite signs. So then we just have to make them be the same number. And the 2 is a smaller number. So we would be dealing with smaller numbers throughout the whole thing. So what does 7 and 2 both go into? I can't make the 7 become a 2, and I can't make the 2 become a 7. So we have 7, 14, 21. Well, this is an even number, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, look, 14. They both go into 14. So what would I multiply this first equation by to make the 7 become a 14? I would multiply it by 2. What would I multiply this bottom equation by to make the negative 2 become a 14? I would multiply it by 7. So let's go ahead and do that and see what we get. 2 times 7 is 14x. 2 times 8 would be plus 16y. And 2 times 10 would be equals 20. On the bottom, we have 7 times negative 2, so negative 14x. 7 times 7 plus 49y equals 7 times, 25 would be 175. All right, so double check your x's and y's. Make sure that you have your one of the variables, same number, opposite sign. And we do. We have our x's. We have 14 and negative 14, so we can go ahead and add our equations together. So 14 plus negative 14, those are gone. 16 plus 49 would leave us with 65y. And 175 plus 20 would leave us with 195. Divide each side by 65. and you're left with y equals 3. We found our y, now let's find our x. So we're going to plug that back in for y into one of our equations. I'm going to use the bottom equation. So we have negative 2x plus 7 times 3 equals 25. Simplify it down. Negative 2x plus 21 equals 25. Subtract 21 from each side. We have negative 2x equals 4. Divide by negative 2, and x equals negative 2. And remember, our answer is written as an x, y point. Okay? All right, one more. So this last one, if you look at these numbers, they do not have opposite signs. So now we're going to have to remember we have to multiply by a negative and a number. So if we look at 2 and 5, I can't make the 2 a 5, I can't make the 5 a 2, I can't make a 4 a 6, or the 6 a 4. So which one do you guys want to deal with? I would deal with, let's do 6 and 4 and eliminate our y's this time, because we haven't done that yet, I don't think. Yeah, we've eliminated our x's on, oh no, we did it for the first one. So let's eliminate our x's because they're smaller, okay? 2 and 5. What number does 2 and 5 both go into? 10. How do I make the 2 a 10? I would multiply by 5. On the bottom one, how would I make the 5 a 10? I would multiply by 2. Now the problem is they're both positive. So which one do you want to multiply by a negative so that they have opposite signs? Let's multiply the bottom one by a negative. So let's go ahead and multiply it out, see what we get. 5 times 2 is 10x. 5 times 4 would be plus 20y. 5 times 0 would be equals 0. Now do the bottom. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10x. Negative 2 times 6 would be minus 12y. And negative 2 times negative 12 would be equals 24. Okay, I noticed that my x's are same number, opposite sign. So we're going to add the equations together. 10 plus negative 10, that's gone. 20 plus negative 12 would be 8y. 0 plus 24 is 24. Divide by 8, and y equals 3. Now that I have my y, we can find our x by plugging it in. I'm going to plug it into the first one. We have 2x plus 4 times 3 equals 0. 2x plus 12 equals 0. Solve it over. So subtract 12. We have 2x equals negative 12. Divide each side by 2, and y equals negative 6. Did I just switch my variables? Yes, I did. Whoops. How about x? So we have 2x. So x equals negative 6. So your answer is negative 6, 3 for your solution.